Hello, viewers. For years on end, Indian football has been described as a sleeping giant, one with boundless talent and potential, which remains untapped. Prasar Bharati, as India's public broadcaster, strongly believes that, as in so many fields in recent years, Indian football can also realize its true potential. And this can be done through partnerships and collaboration with the best in the field. Four-time world champion Germany has one of the best football cultures that has achieved unparalleled success over the years. German football and footballers are admired and respected by football lovers across India. In India, football is very popular in Goa, Kerala, Bengal, Northeast and other parts of the country. Doordarshan channels have got a strong reach across India, and Prasar Bharati's recently launched Waves platform is also increasing its footprint among different sections of the Indian population. The objective of the collaboration between DFB and Prasar Bharati is to bring the best of German football to the maximum Indian homes. It will inspire Indian kids to take up the game, train themselves as professional German footballers do, and take Indian football to greater heights in the years to come. So watch the best of German football action on DD Sports and Waves.
Hello and welcome to yet another special edition of Indian Football Kal Aaj Aur Kal. This, as we are counting down to the time when India produces world-class talent right from the outset. And to help, of course, Indian football grow at the grassroots level, of course, a very, very special German delegation has been putting in the hard hours, looking around the country to make sure that the best footballing talent comes through from the earliest levels. Of course, and for another special presentation, I have with me on the show right away Dr. Holger Blask, the Managing Director of DFB, that's the German Football Association. Holger, good to see you again and good to have you in the studio again.
Thanks for having me again.
Right, Holger also has company. He's got Dietmar Beiersdorfer, who's the CEO of FC Ingolstadt. Dietmar, good to have you there, and I can see remarkably both of you are wearing literally the same jerseys, as I would say in footballing parlance, like the last time around.
Yeah, you are right. Thank you for inviting us here, and we are very happy here, and therefore we didn't change the clothes.
Yeah, it's kind of brand marketing so that everybody remembers it's us.
Stick to that.
Yes.
You know, these things are called good superstitions as far as Indian cricket is concerned. We've seen many instances now. You can see even the German football people, they are also indulging in that. What are we building up? The DFB Pokal, which is the German Cup, the second most important tournament in Germany, which has been played, which is about 90 years old now. It's played the massive competition. It's got seen top tier talent, which is played for the bragging rights for this tournament, the DFB Pokal Cup. That's coming to India in a different way. These gentlemen are making sure they're going to bring it here. But first and foremost, the DFB Pokal is live and it's free to any Indian to watch it. That's a big thing at the outset. What are we looking at? What is the level of football one can expect from this?
We all are aware that it's a knockout tournament, one leg round, so it's always only one can win. The one who wins is going to stay in the competition. It's the challenger situation because there's qualified the 21 state cup winners, so amateur clubs who can challenge clubs like Bayern Munich or Dortmund within the tournament. And yeah, at the end of the day, it all goes down to the final in Berlin, and there we have like the cup winner of the year.
So is it, for the uninitiated, people who do not have a experience of having watched or known about the DFB Pokal, is it much like the FA Cup in England, where you see the likes of Liverpool or Man United going up against Coventry City and the likes?
Yeah, exactly. So this is really comparable. And so, okay, we think, as a German, we think our DFB Pokal is very good, and at least as the FA Cup. But yeah, you can compare it. It's a very historical competition. You said it, and it always thrives us because there's everything possible in these matches. And yeah, it's always a great event when you play in front of 80,000 people in Berlin Olympia Stadium. It's a great event for the whole nation and also for the for this competition.
Right. Let's look at it in a different way, come at it in a different way. You have the Bundesliga, which is one of the top leagues in the world of football, club football. So when you have a Bundesliga, how do you make sure that a tournament like a DFB Pokal stays relevant over the years?
I think it's, as you said, it's additional, and everybody has its own history with DFB Pokal. Take me, I'm coming from Cologne. My club now is only playing second division. You know, my heart was won for football and for Bundesliga and the DFB Pokal when I was in primary school, because there was a very, very famous final. My club, FC Cologne, was playing another club from Cologne. So the final was Cologne against Cologne, and it was the last time they won a title. It's more than 40 years ago. I'm still dreaming for them to win another time.
That must have been quite a final. How is Cologne doing? Which brings me to the next question. How are the Cologne clubs doing now?
Like in the DFB Pokal, they lost in overtime against Leverkusen in the quarterfinals. Very, very tough and short match.
Dietmar, you've been a professional footballer yourself, and if I'm not mistaken, you've been a winner of this tournament. Take us through those memories of yours.
Yeah, I won the tournament twice with Hamburg, HSV, my first club. I played in the Bundesliga. And also
who were your colleagues, if you could name a few of them?
Manfred Kals, Uli Stein as a goalkeeper, Dietmar Jacobs as a central defender, also national team player like Uli Stein, Manfred Kals. Manfred Kals played 69 times for Germany, so he was outstanding. And Thomas von Hesen, a lot of German national team players. Miroslav Okronsky in this time, also a Polish international. And and I won it as well with Werder Bremen, which Winton Rufer, maybe from New Zealand, Rune Bratzem from Norway, Oliver Reck as a goalkeeper, Dieter Eils as a European Cup winner with Germany, Marco Bode also 30, 40, 50 times national team player. So this was a great time.
So the level of competition has always been good. But if you look at it in a different way, they're the top giants, big teams from Bundesliga, who are up against the teams who are coming from lower divisions. And this gives perhaps these teams a very big opportunity to test themselves against the best in the country.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you open up the whole competition even in first round, so every small club is dreaming of participating at least once, and then if it comes to the draw, you can play in your home stadium against Munich or against Dortmund or against Leverkusen. So yeah, there the dream starts, and then there is always the situations where one of the small teams really proceeds during the competition, like Bielefeld from third division right now, being in the semi-final this year.
So have you seen, other than Bielefeld, which is playing this year's semi-final against Leverkusen, as you mentioned, any other team or any particular player or players who've come up, you've first seen them, in the national reckoning during the DFB Pokal and then later went on to play for bigger clubs and Germany?
There are a lot. So, but you also had matches which were legendary. So this is a legendary competition. Because, as I remember well, maybe HSV, Hamburg, they went out after winning the European Cup of the Champions before the Champions League, and they went out with the fourth division club, or Bayern Munich as well with Vestenbergskrog. Nobody knows this small village somewhere in Bavaria. So, but they're also coming out legends from smaller clubs. Which then were put on the scene and could prove themselves for a third or second division club. So this is normal and a great platform for all the players, because also they are motivated. You have not often the chance to play against stars and idols, and this is a chance to prove yourself.
So over the years, we've seen some fabulous rivalries as far as Indian football is concerned, in the clubs like Mohun Baghani, East Bengal, JCT Mills, Phagwara, Modern Sporting, the likes of it, and across competitions, be it big tournaments or small. The DFB Pokal too has its share of fabulous rivalries and intense competitions. That and a lot more on the other side when we come back. Welcome back. We are still in conversation with Dr. Holger Blask and Dietmar Beusdorfer right here as we talk and find out what exactly is the roadmap in trying to charter India's new grassroots level football, which is certainly struggling as we speak. But of course, we are hopeful that with the intervention of perhaps one of the powerhouses of world football, India will definitely take baby steps on their way to a brighter future. We're talking about the DFB Pokal, and Holger, rivalries, intense rivalries, A versus B, player versus player. Anything which comes to your mind when it's about this DFB Pokal competition? Any particular rivalry between two clubs or two players which comes to your mind?
I mean, there's the historic rivalry. It came out of the 70s with Mönchengladbach and Bayern Munich. And for example, Lothar Matthäus was playing for Mönchengladbach. His last match was a cup final with Mönchengladbach against Munich before he transferred to Munich. And they lost in penalties because he didn't score at the end of the day. So that is one.
Did he return the favor? Did he go across and then miss penalties for them too? No, he did not. No. Wow, that's some story. What about you?
Yeah, I lived also a story with HSV when I was sporting director, and we played Werder Bremen, which is always a big clash also in the league, but especially also in the cup. And this was a great match. We played 4 times against each other. We played 2 times in the European Cup against Bremen, and in the league, and also in the cup. And it was at the end. I'm sorry, it was like a disaster for us because we went out of the European Cup and also out of the German DFB Cup. But it was incredible, intense weeks, playing the biggest rivalry of HSV, Werder Bremen, and it always stays in my mind like it has been yesterday.
Right.
Was it the match with the paper on pitch where the ball couldn't be passed?
Yes, this was one match. To be honest, I did it out from my brain because I cannot remember anymore. But
sad memories. Is it because
sad
sad
memories?
memories?
Yeah, it was sad memories because some fan or whatever put a ball of paper inside and in the match, and our defender was didn't see it, and he failed to pass the ball, and then they scored and we lost.
Oops.
And
was it you? Because you seem to remember it. How did he remember that?
I told you that I'm a Cologne supporter, but I saw it in TV. It was like,
wow. That's a part of television because that moment has stuck on with you and everybody who's seen that.
And we put it then in our museum. Even if it was a bad memory, but it was a historical, let's say, a piece which you always remember. Yeah.
Absolutely, and you know, when you talk of competitions which are not really like the Bundesliga, not the #1 competition, but you know, just behind it, and with a lot of history, legacy across the world, we've seen such rivalries. Not just a player versus player; it could be a player versus a coach too. I mean, I read somewhere that a man you will never forget, besides Maradona, Valdano, who scored in the '86 final. I've read about it. When Valdano was a young player and he was playing for a B or C division team in Spain, Alaves or something, and in one of these competitions like the DFB Pokal, I think it could have been the Copa del Rey or something, he came up against a Barcelona which still had a Johan Cruyff playing, and there is this incident that a player was stripped and he fell down, so Cruyff stopped the ball, took the ball, put it right here, and asked the referee to call for medical attention. And that's where Valdano walked up to Cruyff and said, why don't you take that ball and give us another ball we can play, you can leave the field. I mean, it caused a friction between a young upstart called Valdano, which nobody knew, and Johan Cruyff, who's the god of football, and years later, Cruyff is coaching Barcelona, Valdano is coaching Real Madrid, and Madrid beats Barca 5-0. Just think where it starts. So any stories like that?
I mean, starting in the beginning, you said it's the second competition in Germany. I would say the one is not going without the other, you know. And what the very interesting part about it is that because of the playoff situation, you had like in the last couple of years not only Dortmund, Munich, but also Leverkusen, Leipzig, and Frankfurt as cup winners. So you see, like it's open every year, and that changed situation quite a lot, I think, and that's why it's so attractive. Because if the competition starts, every participant, like every fan of every club, thinks, okay, we might have our chance to get to Berlin and win a title, which is easier because it's only like 6 matches and not like 34 in the Bundesliga.
The great thing is that also a 4th or 3rd division club can participate, and this provides an incredible match sometimes, because you go playing on a field which is not that you see every weekend, and it's a bad field sometimes, or in the winter time, and there's different conditions, so the locker room is different, so you have a small locker room where you cannot make the things what you normally do and you are used to, and so this is really special, and we played 2 finals against teams, Stuttgarter Kickers and Rot-Weiß Essen, which has been in the 2nd league. And it is such a great push for the cities of the 2nd league teams, which is incredible. And if you go to Berlin, you see the flags of the one team and the other team, and all is crowded. The big cities in Berlin are crowded with the fans, and it's not only a match, it's also around the event, around the match. It's incredible.
Right, and you just mentioned the fact that about smaller teams getting the chance to play against big teams. You're looking at the semi-final lineup. You've got a Leverkusen, you've got a Stuttgart, you've got a Leipzig, but Bayern Munich is not there. It's not that if you're the best team, one of the best in the Bundesliga, you're not guaranteed a place in the DFB Pokal last 4.
You're right. But if you look to those 4, 3 of them started in Champions League this season. So Arminia Bielefeld is coming from 3rd division. Nevertheless, they took out Werder Bremen, they took out Freiburg out of the competition. So they are the underdog against Leverkusen for sure, because Leverkusen won the Bundesliga and the DFB Pokal last season. Still, Leverkusen has to play in Bielefeld. Let's see, it's the David against Goliath story there.
Wow. And sports has always had a very, very special place for the underdog story. So whether the underdog story will actually turn out to be the real Cinderella story in this year's DFB Pokal, that remains to be seen. But what also remains to be seen and is unanswered as of now is how this competition and how its meandering effect might actually impact Indian grassroots football positively. That and much more on the other side of this one final break we take right now. Welcome back. We are talking about Indian football story, Kal Aaj Aur Kal This, even as India looks to rebuild its footballing structure right from the foundation. Olga, we're talking about the DFB Pokal, the tournament, the German football ecosystem, the paraphernalia, the structure. But when you look at what you guys have behind the scenes, I mean, you've got more than 50 centers of excellence, more than 350 specific specialized coaching camps, coaching academies, I believe. So are these available for all the clubs, or is just for the Bundesliga clubs, just for the top flight clubs, or is it available for everybody?
No, the Bundesliga clubs and 2nd division clubs, they are obliged to have like a training academy, but there's more than them. So even in 3rd division and even a few clubs out of the 4th division do have training academies, and they are supported by the FA as well. So, but obliged is the first 2 divisions. So, but for the smaller clubs, and there we're coming back to the FA Cup. The FA Cup is like completely outstanding income source for them. If you go to 1st, 2nd, 3rd round, for example, you earn the money with which you can, for example, afford to have like a training academy, even like in a smaller club who's not competing in Bundesliga.
Right. So in a sense, a competition like this, if it does see the light of day in India, if you have a similar competition, maybe all across India, across different levels, do you think it'll take off? Do you think it'll work, it'll get success?
Yeah, it's incredibly important if you have the grassroots and the youth teams and the structure, and then that they can qualify for higher levels. It's very important because you need to have the competition. Without competition, you will not getting better, and this is the good thing in these big countries. They have a great structure of competitions, and you can develop at your best. And in case you don't have it, you always play with the same. Then it's going to be difficult. At the beginning, you need to come in, and you, as we already told, you have to have the love and the passion with the sports. But on a certain age, then on a certain level, you need to have the curriculum that fits, and that the competition you have to play with against other teams and
So-
in your team.
So broadly speaking, I mean, it's all very easy for at least people on the side where I am sitting to say and talk about grassroots football, but what exactly does it entail? It's not about just finding the right talent. It's not just about giving them places to play. It's not about only giving them proper nutrition. What actually is needed to develop a proper grassroots football structure?
So we normally as a Bundesliga club, second division or third division, you don't have the small ones, not with 6-8 years, because you try to integrate the region. So you have prospective teams, and they every week they can come. The best of them can come to the training of the under 12. We start with under 12, under 13, 14, up to under 19, under 21 as a bridge between the youth and the seniors. And then you have to have good coaches. You have the structure of good coaches. You need to have the development of the coaches, which is very important. So the quality of the coaches is decisive in developing players, and therefore you need to let them go to courses with the DFB, for example, or also to hospitations to other clubs, and to work on the coaches that they already that they can bring the development and the quality to the players. And yes, and then you need to play in the highest leagues in your age group,
Right.
that the competition is high, and that they are that they can compete on the highest level. So this is very important. And obviously I said also that it's important to follow the players, to show them a pathway, to speak with them, to have talks with them. What are you doing good? What you have to work on, and in a regular time, space, and also to bring them to school, to accompany them in their school life. Sometimes they have problems with the parents. Sometimes they have problems in the school. It's also important to be close to the players. To take them also sometimes in the arm,
Right.
but also sometimes to say this is not till here, but not further on. And you need to have the right mentality and the leadership in an academy like this. Yeah.
Right. That sounds like a huge amount of work. You have your hands cut out. You're working for German football. You're showing interest here in India. How do you guys manage it?
So I mean that's one of the basis things we have to do. I mean we want to have the DFB Pokal being played, so we want to have a high class competition which starts on the pitch, like with the promise of the smaller teams playing against the bigger ones. But we offer them the opportunity to have like a high class media product in Germany, but also outside of Germany. That is one we are offering to India, free to air right now with you as well. So. Yeah, it's a big experience for the clubs. For the big clubs, they're used to it because they are playing Champions League and Bundesliga. But for the smaller ones, it's new. They have like not only like a full stadium, but they know, like especially if they're going up to quarterfinals or even further than this, that they are seen worldwide. It's a platform for young players, because if you really perform in this match, you will find like a transfer market for yourself, either in Germany or with other clubs. Because if you're the hero of 1 or 2 cup matches, somebody will look to you. It's as I described for myself. It's one of those competitions where you find your idol. Because coming back to my Cologne against Cologne experience, Pierre Littbarski scored the goal. That's why he was my hero then.
Pierre Littbarski is a very famous player. Again, I've not been.
winning World Cup 1990 and being in the team who reached the final 82, 86 and 90.
90. That's the reason we talk about German football. Literally everybody's played everything and everybody's literally won everything. What next? And coming back to German football, what next? Let's talk about next year. What's happening next year? I'm going to push you again.
You mean in the World Cup?
2026. There's only one thing which interests the football fan in India, the Football World Cup.
Yeah, you mean will we have the fifth?
Title
or not?
how's Germany got to do? Are you going to go on par with Brazil, win it, get on 5 titles like Brazil? Are you going to do that?
So I'm German and I'm bold now and I say okay, we will win the 5th title, so we will do it.
What about you?
I mean, the most important expert, our coach, said after losing against Spain next morning to the press in Germany, okay, the hardest thing having lost at the Euro against Spain is that we have to wait 2 years until we win the title. So I take his word.
Wow, that's some statement coming from the German coach, and perhaps that in itself sums up the philosophy of this football for a country which sort of rebuilt its football and also life in certain more ways than one after the end of the Second World War, going on to win the 54 World Cup and then emerging as one of the most dominant footballing powerhouses in this world of the beautiful game alongside Brazil. That is exactly what Germany stands by and signifies, and it's a great thing that the Germans have decided to come and help India find a toehold in the world of international football. On that note, gentlemen, thank you very, very much. I know you pressed for time. Thank you for again having made the time to come here to the studios, and here's hoping the next time we catch up, we not only discuss about Germany's chances in the FIFA World Cup, but about maybe some new good Indian talent you might have unearthed. Right?
Great.
We will
Great
do
to
so.
see you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And it remains to be seen again whether Germany get on to win a 5th World Cup. If they do, I promise I'll get both these gentlemen right here in this very studio to talk about that history. Till then, thanks for watching, and as always, hoping Indian football does find its feet. It's the story of Bharatiya football, Kal, Aaj aur Kal. Take it away. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.